What's up, dum-dums? Welcome to a new episode of Banter Blitz with me, Jan Gustafsson, here on Chess24. Let's start with the bad news. I still did not get a haircut. I was gonna say there's no one busier than me, but that would be a straight out lie. There's no one lazier than me, so I believe that's what will just stop me from getting a haircut forever. And if I keep not getting a haircut, I have calculated that I'm gonna need 3 years to have my hair reach all the way to this table, and I believe it will be a fantastic look for me. Other than that, I'm done being needy and I'm willing to crush all of you. Been a very eventful week here in Hamburg, Germany with the G20 and yeah, a lot of destruction all going through the city, which is painful. Like, I was born here, I love this city. So those were painful things to witness, but everything's fine. Our office is fine. My place is fine, and they have started cleaning up the neighborhoods, but there was some crazy stuff. What else can I report? Not much really. Oh, I won a Blitz tournament. I'm very focused on my comeback in over-the-board random rapid tournaments. So thanks to Schachonski, who took me to a Blitz tournament last weekend, which I won in, dare I say, fantastic style, ahead of Lawrence Trent. So it's probably my biggest victory till this day. I've watched some movies, mainly quality stuff like Time Cop, Jean-Claude Van Damme 1994 Vehicle. Is that it? Oh, I've watched Tour de Pharmacy, the new Andy Samberg mockumentary. Was very funny. I recommend most Andy Samberg stuff. He makes me laugh. Let's see if my first opponent can make me laugh and play somebody. But who? As usual, I want to play new people. I think you and we should play new people. But they're hard to come by. Where are my noobs at? Klosterfrau. I never played Klosterfrau, I'm being told. Klosterfrau Melissengeist? Is that some alcoholic beverage? Klosterfrau literally means... What do you call this? I don't think it means nun. It means... monastery lady? I don't know. You tell us, Klosterfrau. Hang on, the C3 stuff? There's this funny new line, which I haven't really memorized, but is supposed to be good for black. Knight f6, d4, knight takes e4, d5, bishop c5. The problem is I can't remember how it worked. Shall I still do it? I'm running the risk of being in a bit of trouble because I can't remember the details, but this was supposed to be fine, even though I ran it through the computer and I wasn't winning for black. It was some 0-0 thingy. And a weird 0-0 where it looked like black should be worse. So I don't know why I'm doing this. I just noticed it. It was, I believe, recommended in a book by Antirlis. But yeah, upon closer inspection, I thought this was just, or whatever, just equal. Which is not really good enough for giving a piece. And also I have no idea how the line continues. So, long story short, what am I doing? What have I done with my life? And why do I play a line where I'm going to end up 2 pieces down against Klosterfrau, who I do outrate? Okay, now that the appropriate amount of whining has been done, do I have anything for these 2 pieces? Is this the line I'm supposed to play? I do not know. d5 looks natural. He can't take on e5 because of rook e8. And I will just hope that... no, I think after queen d5 I'm supposed to play knight f2 maybe? Is that the line? I think something's gone wrong. Let's see. Queen a4 is on the board. bc? Queen c6, bishop a6 check doesn't exactly win the game. Nah, I'm gonna have to try to at least open the position a bit. Maybe get one of the pieces back. Find some compensation. But I have a feeling that after queen d5 I'm probably supposed to go knight f2. Does that make any sense? I'll look it up afterwards. For now, I'm stuck here, bunch of pieces down, against our boy, Klosterfrau, if he's a boy. His username says he's a girl. But sometimes, on the internet, people say they're a girl, but then they're not a girl. Or so I've been told. Which book is Jan referring to? I forgot the title, but I believe it's by N. Tierlis and it covered some E4, E5 stuff for black. But I didn't read it very carefully. I'm not sure what the title is. But yeah, I've certainly seen this move Bishop C5, and then I also recall checking it and thinking, okay, but with best play, it leads to égalité. But as you can see, can't really remember the details. He played h3 to stop me from going bishop g4 check. Fair enough, but I did collect a bunch of pawns and his king is in the center. So I'm not sure it's enough compensation for 2 pieces, but I'm still mildly optimistic that I can bother him with my safe king and with my pawn armada. Go c5, d4 maybe. Not so easy to play. OTB, as us chess lingo experts like to say, for over the board. I believe that's what OTB stands for. Not to be confused with OCD, which I don't think I have that. I have many other things, but not OCD. Can I give some checks? Bishop b5, king d2, queen g5, king c2. Nah. I could go bishop b5, king d2, and then bishop d3. If it were to take that, I would win a piece back. But it's not that sexy either. And we do need sexy back. I'd like to play d4. The problem is I can't see how I'm winning after cd, cd, knight d4. Because apparently there's no way to pick up material there. Bishop d4, queen d4, bishop g4, king e3, queen g5. Doesn't seem to work, so obviously I will blitz it out. And Klosterfrau does take my word for it. You should never trust me, Klosterfrau. Don't trust strangers. d3 or e3? Maybe d3. Then bishop e3. No, I don't like it. Let's take this pawn. The king can go to g1, but will it be happy there? You never know. I have a feeling now my position is stable enough. I can afford some slightly slower moves and prepare pushing my pawns even further. Queen g5 is queen g4. Not sure I'm a big fan of that. Hence, I will go here, threatening checkmate with queen f6. And if he plays whatever, queen e2, I'll play a move like rook d8, hinting at d3. And the position remains very messy. I've played slowly, therefore it is time to speed up. Just a little bit. I've also incarcerated my bishop on b6. Not quite sure why I've done that to my poor bishop. The white's pieces are also still sort of dormant. Look at me throwing out all these fancy English words. Incarcerated, dormant, doormat. That's pretty much it. Queen f1, where do I go? e5, g5. Let's go g5. Even though that sort of provokes h4, which probably helps him. Who knows? Who the F knows? d3, bishop e3, doesn't help. Nothing helps. Nothing really works. Rook d6 and turning rook f6 looks like decent enough move given the circumstances. And as I said, white is 2 pieces up, but it's not really felt somehow. Bishop e2 is a good move though, after which it might be a little more felt. Yeah, I missed bishop e2. Shame. I'll go here, h5, queen g5. The queen still sticks around. Still intending to play rook f6. Bishop d3 bothers me a bit. I never go to g3 because that would just provoke rook h3, which I don't think helps my case. Case or cause, I'll never find out. And bishop d3 played, good move. How do we keep the party going? Of course, I could probably repeat with queen g4. I don't really want to. So I'll do this, which looks ridiculous. And it is ridiculous. He can take in queen f3. Yeah, I have not handled the initiative all that convincingly in this game. Still, the flames of the attack have not been fully extinguished yet. Oh boy. Excellent description of chess. I'm a professional chess commentator, as you can see. Queen d3 I like because it doesn't allow him to hit my queen easily. And see, he's already panicking a little bit by going bishop e3, giving one piece back. Which possibly is a good move, but it still feels... If that's what you gotta do, then things can't be so bad for me. And I'm very sacrifice happy in this game. Rook d1, e2, but rook... Oh yeah, e2 works. Rook d3 is not a legal move. I was seriously calculating rook d1, e2, rook takes d3, but bishop takes g1 should be good for me there. And we might both have suffered from the same hallucination, because Gustafsson also plays rook d1. Probably is trying to play rook takes d3 now. It's not legal. Therefore, he resigns. He or she, I still don't know. But yeah, good game, very interesting, and I believe I've badly bungled the opening. I'm gonna have to, if I'm gonna play this line, I should probably study it at some point. Is it castles here? Or is it bishop b6, queen d5, knight f2? I'm gonna have to look it up. But thanks for the game. Gustafsson was great fun for all of us. Especially for me, since I won. And we shall continue playing. Am I feeling myself enough for the strong guys already? Not really, but let's play. Let's play one title player. Mr. Formless. I'm sure a formidable opponent. I have a feeling I've played Formless before. But this title is so hypnotizing. It's like big city lights. Ugh, the Italian. That's boring for me. Unless you play d4 here. d4 is fun. h3. Can you go d5 after h3? I'm never sure. I believe recently. Well, I've played this. Did I play this against Formless? I can't remember. I can't remember Jack. Looks like he knows what he's doing. Oh yeah, I actually know this trick, but I did not think Formy would know this. Formy's prepared. Because yeah, bishop g5 is good for white. I actually saw this on the computer. Oh boy. Because here there was some problem. Takes and queen h5. I can't recall the problem, but the problems there were. I think I was not able to keep all my pieces. Yeah, takes and queen h5, I'm guessing. And yeah, the computer said this was good for white, and instead of bishop b6, you have to play f6. As you can see, once again, the effects of not knowing stuff come back to bite me. I immediately queen h5. Is that the way? Maybe that's the trick. Big chess theoretician for me. I go f5. All this calculating makes my head hurt. Knight c5, huh? Darn me. Out prepared again. And what's worse is I knew this. Like, it's okay if you get out prepared if you don't know stuff. But if you know it and still fall for it, something's wrong with you. Maybe there is. Anyway. Not over yet. But I can't see what to do. Knight g6, queen e1, fe, queen e4, knight gf4. Does that continue? Maybe it continues. We'll find out. But why do I keep blundering? Every move I'm blundering. So dumb. queen h5 or queen g5 is what I missed, to be precise. Now it's just lost. Yes. That was sad. Yep, now it is just lost. Stupid. I should have asked some more questions at least. Knight g6, really pathetic move. Okay, what to do? Be annoyed at myself mainly. Not even tricks left, unfortunately. Nah, knight g6 was just insane. This is the saddest move anybody's ever played in the history of chess. Stopping knight c5, but of course makes zero sense. It's more or less saying, I know I could resign, but I don't want to. So please, Mr. Formy, let's make some more moves. But it's just sad. Any fighting chances? Let's count material. I do have a knight and a rook against the queen. I have a feeling earlier, after queen h4, I must have been able to do better than this. Well, now, yeah, there's not really any fighting chances because my pieces are weak and uncoordinated as well. I can only choose which way I want to go down. But I have a feeling Formy will not allow me to escape from this. It's just too many enemy. How do I go about my swindling operations here? Has to start with trying to weaken his king a bit. Queen e8 check. Do it. I have a feeling he won't do it. I probably should not take on d4 with either rook, because he could take and then give a check on e8, which would be highly unfortunate. So instead, I'm gonna... he might just take all my material. He might not let me get away with even my swindling shenanigans. Rook g1, another strong move, stopping me from all kinds of cruel intentions that I had. For me, in formidable form today. Sorry for mispronouncing every other word. King g2, can I take? Not really. Can I take this? Nothing's great, but what can I do? Just trying to swindle my way out of this. King h3, rook f3. Some rook endgame, which might not be horrible for me. So let's see what he does. I'm sure it's still terrible, queen e7 or whatnot, but taking it one move at a time. I wish I knew how the pawn endgame is after king g2. Everything gets exchanged, but I think I'll just bluff and take and look confident. Do I look confident? I don't get many compliments, but I am confident. He doesn't take it. That's risky, Mr. Formidable. Now both my rooks will stay in the game and might come back to haunt you. Then again, his d-pawn is quite annoying. So I'm gonna have to figure out a way to stop that guy. Can I afford to take here? I really want to. Probably I should have counted before going for this operation. But who is the time? So far I did calculate, and I saw I have queen e4, rook g6 check, which might be an unpleasant surprise. Because now I can take this guy, and then all I have to do... Actually, it's a bit of a taller order than expected, so I probably should checkmate him in one move instead. Because I was gonna say rook takes d7, king h5, all I have to do is unpin myself after rook d6, but rook h2 check is a slightly stronger move. So yeah, that was a bit pathetic because I knew this. I just checked this the other day. Because I played this move in a tournament game and I was very proud of myself that I calculated knight e5, queen h4. But then I was very surprised when the computer said knight e4 and what is better. But of course it doesn't stop me from repeating my mistakes. Then I managed to swindle Formless. Apologies. I'm not really sorry. Who's next? The eternal question. What about Malone lives? Is that Karl Malone? He's not supposed to be dead, is he? Probably some other Malone. Or the Mal one, he's from Chile, so maybe he's the bad one that lives. Mal one doesn't make a lot of sense either. He plays knight f3, I'll play g6, because most one knight f3 guys will not play 2 e4, and then g6 is actually not a terrible move. Because often knight f3 is played to move already out of the Grunfeld by playing e4 or knight c3 here. But against knight c3, c5 is a decent setup, now d4 is not great. And against e4, e5 is a decent move. So g6, if they don't go 2 e4 and you're a Grunfeld guy, is a decent move order. I'm not sure I've made my point very clear. But it's Banter Blitz. It's hard to make the points all that clear. This line, yeah, e3, if you have to play e3, it's obviously not very challenging. But it's it's not a good position for white, because knight c2 you can take on c3. And e3 combined with g3 is normally not a recipe for success. Not necessarily bad either, but it's not ideal. I'm not sure how to punish it though. d5 looks a little brazen. But kind of logical, because if I castle bishop g2, I could not, well, I'm fine, but I could not see any direct follow-up. See, Hernandez points out that Karl Malone is indeed the mailman, but I don't think he's supposed to be dead. He won this MVP, even though he shouldn't have gotten it. Let's be honest, but I don't think he ever got a title. Poor mailman. Bishop d3 looks wrong. That much I can state confidently. How to punish it, I'm not that sure though. Knight d4, ed, dc is fine for sure. Bishop h3 would be a more ambitious move. Or just castles. Everything's fine. But I can only make one move at a time, which is unfair sometimes. But those are the rules of the ancient game of chess. I'll just castle. And now what? I'll just try to annoy Malone lives by playing bishop h3. I'm in a very sacrificial mood today. Like some voluntary, some his last game not so voluntary. Of course cd5 or knight d5 were simpler and probably better, but bishop h3 stops him from castling, which is an unpleasant feeling to have. Like, I can't castle. It's like if you didn't shower in the morning. Not that I know that feeling, but I've been told. And then something itches and you can't quite know what it is. I think that's the same feeling. Bishop f1, see, he's already freaking out about not being able to castle. Goes all the way back. I still don't want you to castle. No bigger sacrificial attack player than me in the history of Banter Blitz with Jan Gustafsson. This is trouble for Malone lives. Queen f3 he goes. Fair enough, actually. Now that his bishop is on f1, I'm less eager to exchange it. Bishop g4 looks like a decent enough move. He's still not in time to castle. And after whatever, queen f4 or whatever he's gonna do, it's gonna be a lovely day. White should curb his greed and not take here, because rook d8 followed by rook d1 checkmate would be quite unpleasant to handle. I also have some other threats like bishop c3 check. Therefore, not a pleasant situation that Malone lives found himself in here. h3, as far as I can tell, allows me to do this. He can still play Griffin. Bishop d2, because takes is checkmate. Queen c3, bishop d2, queen a1, bishop c1, queen c1 checkmate. So bishop d2 is only move. Well, I don't see a forced win yet, but with the king on d2, good things should happen to me. Bishop b2 is certainly good. Rook b1, queen c2. Bishop takes d2 is also good. King d2, rook b8, b3. Bishop f5, rook c1 is not winning yet. So do I go all materialistic? Always feels so dirty. And I'm talking a lot about being dirty and not showering today. I don't know why that is. I did shower a long time ago. This was the plan, threatening to take the rook. And after this, we can end the game very, very quickly, because it's not my style to make people suffer and wait for the mate in one after, in horror, he spotted that after rook takes b2, queen d1 checkmate ends the game. I'm a big fan of executing such threats directly, because a slow roll is a bit unsportsmanlike. We don't do that in chess. I've been told you don't do it in other games either. So instead of just making him wait for the end, trying to figure out if I saw it or not, I will play this move instantly. And checkmate it is. Sorry, Malone lives. Thanks for the game. Yeah, that did not go well. e3 and g3. You should not combine these two. Let's play a new game. Who did I click on? I clicked on somebody half accidentally. It's a name I believe I've bungled badly in a previous show already. Cesina from Poland. Goes c4. Why not play c6? c6 is a solid move. And the problem, of course, is that it allows the exchange Slav, which sometimes you don't want to play, against slightly lower rated players, but nothing bad about it. Knight f3, my default move here is e6, going for the semi-Slav, but I'm also well versed and very versatile in a6 setups. b3, you can do all kinds of things. The thing is, now after b3, you can bring the bishop out to f5 or g4, which earlier was a little shady because of queen to b3. So if you want to, you can just put the bishop here. There's some goofy guys that like to play rook g1, g4 based systems here, but more power to them. My opponent is going for a more standard scheme of developing, and knight h4 is actually a move maybe I should have tried to prevent by throwing in some h6. But it's double-edged because the king is now standing on the same file as my rook and bishop, and c takes d5. I believe bishop h2 will come as a very unpleasant surprise for my opponent, who indeed resigns instantly. Yeah, didn't castle yet, so you gotta be very careful with that. Of course, this position, if you play h3 or g3 or f4, the game just begins. But yeah, bishop h2. Bit of a rude awakening there. Sorry, Mr. or Mrs. Cesina. Let's play Prometheus. Even though I did not enjoy that movie. Now you're gonna tell me the username is not based on the movie, it's based on whatever the F Prometheus was. But I associate this alien, in other words, I struggle pronouncing, alien, is it a prequel? I believe it's a prequel with it. We are playing the Trompovsky, bishop g5, knight e4, where bishop f4 is the trendy move. Prometheus saga is one of the most known written material. Prometheus is a titan. Who knew? He's bringing us fire, Mr. Prometheus. All right, learn something. It's a bit sad I have to relearn all these things, because when I was a kid, I was a sucker for Greek mythology. I read all this stuff inside out, like all the... See, I should give some examples, but I'm sure I read a lot about Odysseus and his adventures on the seven seas, or maybe it was just the Mediterranean. But I forgot all about it. I hopefully did not yet forget all about what to do after c5 here, when they play bishop d3. For a while, knight f6 was trendy here, following Avro's recommendation. But there's also other moves like knight c6 or e6 or even c takes d4 that come very strongly into consideration. I believe c takes d4 is what Kayakin played here once. e6 is always possible, albeit a little more passive. And I have to decide. I don't like decisions. If I want to just play some typical London system setup with knight f3, c3 or whatnot, or if I want to go for a more non-standard position after bishop e4 followed by knight c3. And as you can see by the moves I actually made, I went for bishop e4 followed by knight c3. f5. Do I try to open the center already by going d5? Could go either way, but I'm in an experimental mood today, so let's find out. What are you talking about, C. Hernandez? OG Alent? You mean Alien? Movies. First three or so were very good. What happened to your spelling? Yeah, I've never been a big Alien fan. I don't trust aliens to begin with. And I probably should avoid having to say that word too often. But I do know that these movies are beloved. And I like when the alien breaks out of this dude's chest. Is that the first movie? When they're having this scene where they're chatting it up in the kitchen of their space station. And then the alien just breaks free. But yeah, not my favorite franchise. And I've played some horrible moves here against Prometheus. Probably because it is my favorite franchise. Knight b5 was a completely pointless move. And for some reason, I managed to... As strong grandmasters, we like to say forget. Because missed sounds like you missed a move like a mere mortal. No, you just forgot about it. You knew about it all along. So I forgot about queen b6. And yeah, now my play has not made a lot of sense. Whatever. Game continues. I'm still not lost or anything. But not my proudest moment. What else are we talking about? Pandora? Pandora's box? Let's not open Pandora's box on this program. Knight d7. I'm being outplayed by Prometheus. I don't like being outplayed by anybody, but especially Prometheus. Well, the harsh truth is, he's played better than me. So far, this knight is well placed on e5. And I need to come up with something to do. Which I guess you could use as the title for my life as well. Queen d8 feels a little slow. I'll go here. See what Prometheus wants. He probably wanted to go queen g5 or queen h4 and checkmate me, but that is a bit of a stretch. Should have gotten your pieces out, Prometheus. Bishop d7, rook a8, or rook d8, or something along those lines. And BelotZ has, as usual, very well informed on terrible movies coming up. He's asking expectations on Planet of the Apes. Is there another Planet of the Apes? No, I shouldn't call this a terrible movie. I've actually seen a lot of the Planet of the Apes franchise. I've seen the last one. What's it called? Dawn? I don't know which one. That one that was Shakespearean with the good leader and the bad leader and on Team Apes. But I have zero expectations. I did not hear that they were making more Planet of the Apes movies. Because you don't expect it. With Hollywood, you would think they're all about creating new worlds and fresh stories, not just restoring the same thing, existing IP over and over again. That would be like if they kept making Spider-Man movies. Like, who would do such a thing? Speaking of which, I hear the new Spider-Man movie is actually good. So I might go to watch that. My play in this game has been consistently terrible. I'm wondering at what point I should start panicking about actually losing. But we're not there yet. Looks like expectations are high for the new Planet of the Apes. Let's look it up. Planet of the Apes. I like the old Planet of the Apes movies. At least they're not trying to be not terrible. Double Negation, one of my fortes as well. Consisting of films, books, television series, comics. Oh, looks like a lot of IP in the Planet of the Apes universe. Still getting outplayed here. How can I change my fortunes? So what's with the new movie? War for the Planet of the Apes. Is it out already? Huge score on Rotten Tomatoes. Who knew? Apparently it's out already. July 14. That's soon. I'll go check it out. Thank you so much, BelotZ, for informing us. It's getting harder and harder to trash BelotZ for his horrible taste if he recommends highly rated things all the time. Sad. This knight is very unpleasant. It's a so-called octopus. Standing there annoying me. And I don't know what to do about it. Oh, also all my expert movie analysis has made me pretty much run out of time. While my position has been bad all the way. Therefore, I'm gonna have to think of something to do. For now, it will be the usual aimlessly jumping around. Jump around. And making illegal pre-moves, such as rook takes g1. In the meantime, my aimless jumping has netted some material gains, which is nice. But of course, plan B is very much to be taken into account here. So, better speed it up. Then again, I've told this to people before. Mr. Prometheus, I'll tell you again, don't try to flag a flagger. I don't have many skills, but winning on time is on that very short list. And therefore, Prometheus does resign. Thanks for the game. I didn't play well. then when it came to the pre-move phase, I pre-moved more efficiently than Prometheus. Thanks for playing. And yeah, I'm now extremely stoked to go watch Planet of the Apes. I don't know what stoked means, but I still have a feeling it's appropriate here. I'm gonna play Alberto Muniz. It says that my record against Alberto Muniz is 0-1, which is shocking. Let's see if he can make it 2-0. I must play my tightest and dullest. Let's play the... what do they call this? I never know what anything's called. Yurtayev. D3 is not the most critical move, but of course with white you can do this and you get a fine position anyway. That is, I was gonna say white privilege, but I believe that's a term I should not use. That is the advantage of having the white pieces in a chess game. You have a little more margin for, I'm not sure if you can call it margin for error, but for doing stuff in the opening. All of this looks very familiar. Is this the game I already lost to you, Alberto Muniz? Obviously I can't remember, but the opening play and the structure and all that looks very, very familiar. And I have a feeling I've played Bishop e6 here in a previous game. I'm not sure if it was against Alberto or somebody else. I feel like deviating, even though Bishop e6 looks like a sensible enough move, to be perfectly honest with you. These structures are so hard to reinvent. Reinvent doesn't make sense either, but to come up with something fresh. All of this feels like I've had it on the board before. Even knight d5, bishop d5, ed, knight e7 looks so familiar. I'm not sure if that's a good or a bad sign that I feel like I've seen things before, but I still don't know what to do, or when I've seen them, or where I've seen them, or anything really. I strongly feel like I've had this exact position before, and probably against Alberto. I have also a feeling that in that game, or in whatever game I think I'm recalling, I played c6. This time I'll leave this bishop here, because why would you awaken it with c6 really? Is this a 3-minute game or have I just been slow? I prefer 5-minute challenges if you guys can make that happen in the future. It gives me a little more time to talk, to read the chat, to Google Planet of the Apes, you know, the important things in life. Do I have a plan? I don't know what I'm supposed to do here, to be perfectly frank. Frank Underwood. Look like it's changing one pair of horses. Could be a good idea, so that hopefully I'll be left with a good knight, mediocre bishop situation. Still not sure how to deploy my pieces correctly though. b4 looks like a sensible move. Just giving this rook something to do. I struggle taking decisions. And it's a 3-minute game, or a slowly played game, one of the two. So I better start becoming a little more decisive. Calculating phase. Nah, no queen exchange. I plan to trick you. So far, my trickery ambitions seem to be working okay-ish, even though Alberto is putting up a fight here with the excellent move rook g4. You know what? Let's play g5 and see what happens. 3-minute games, so stressful. I like that this knight is recapturing and forking at the same time. And I've leveled the score against Alberto Muniz. What else could I ask for from a day's work? Probably nothing. Let's play BelotZ. BelotZ. Is that like Dragon Ball Z? You used to be Belot and then you added the Z? Are you guys getting sick of e4, e5s? This is a line I've been sick of my entire life. The Scottish 4 knights. So dull. It's a bit of a cheat code. If you're white and you're a good player, but you're facing a stronger opponent, you can just do this and you don't have to know anything and you'll get a decent position. It's very unfair. I don't think rook b8 is the main move. I think bishop d6 is what they normally do. But if you're going to go a3, then I'm very happy to throw this in. And I'm not sure what's going on. Is this some trick, BelotZ? Because I will take the pawn. If it is some trick, more power to you. But I am a simpleton when it comes to grabbing pawns. That much, I believe we've established. Knight takes b1. I don't feel particularly tricked yet, to be honest. Pawn up. My structure is a little rotten, but you often get these endgames with a white b-pawn. So playing it without the white b-pawn should be a better version. Yeah, I think he just had a blackout, or he ignored that I played rook b8 and gave me that b2 pawn for no good reason. Now the rest is a matter of my admittedly horrible technique. That's not a good position to find yourself in out of the opening with white. And BelotZ seems to be thinking for the first time in the game, having a look around. And he sees, what have I done to deserve this? I'm not sure if that's what he sees. That's what he thinks, probably. a4 is a sensible move, just to stop this pawn from hanging. I already thought about it during his long timeout, so I concluded c5 looks like a decent reply. And I'm not really afraid of exchanging these guys. Looks like, how do I do this? Maybe let's go here first. Looks like more material gains could be in the cards. I like bishop b4, just trapping this knight. If c3, bishop a5 should cost him more. While now, it's hard to come up with sensible suggestions for white. I'll just win, frankly. Go d3 next, or c3 and then d3. Or a5, bishop d7. As I said, it's not a very pleasant situation. King e2, I guess this is the easiest way to end proceedings. Just pick up the knight. Yeah, not BelotZ's best game. Thanks for the game. Can I play someone lower rated? Be accused of favoring all the tough guys, which is not my intention. I want to crush all of you equally. Longinos or Longe in US. Or neither. Are you with us, Longinos? Maybe he's not around. Looks like Longinus is not there. Sorry, my dear boy. We can't play in that case. Let us play maybe another game instead then? Is that an acceptable outcome? Let's play against Der Walker. Or Der Walker. No, Der Walker. German dude. Are you the guy who once ordered us a pizza into the office? I have a feeling that might have been you, if it was you. Thanks a lot for the pizza, if it wasn't you. Never mind. I have a feeling it might have been Der Walker, who's trying to build some goofy hedgehog here. And I've never been afraid of facing the goofy hedgehogs the chess world has to offer. He's thinking here, but yeah, you really have to take on d4 and then go for a6, d6, knight f6. In whatever order. The Benoni structure, sometimes I avoid it because I'm a chicken, but with the bishop on b7 and especially giving me another tempo to play d5, this just looks absolutely horrible for black. It's already multiple ways to gain a big advantage, but I don't see anything particularly wrong with just trying to get some pieces out. h4, bishop d6, is that an issue? I don't know. This knight on g6 makes it very tempting to just try to punish him further, which sometimes, admittedly, can be a mistake to try to punish your opponent too hard for his goofy opening play. Sometimes it's better to just develop the pieces, have a look around. But not in this game. In this game, I want to crush Der Walker mercilessly. So I decided to grab more space. This becomes more appealing after h4, h5, because this knight on g6 is now weakened. For example, after d, e, f, e, I could eat it. Therefore, yeah, I'm not a fan of his position. I don't see how he can develop. Bishop e7, I could, for example, play this move. Maybe I'm getting too full of myself. Maybe I should have thought about this for a second. But who has the time? Thing is, after bishop f3, queen f3, knight takes e5 is a bit of an unpleasant moment because I can't take on e7 due to knight takes f3 check. So I had to go for this, which was probably good for me. But full disclosure, was not exactly my intention when I blitzed out d6. Still, as I said, it probably does favor me. Knight h6, the knight had to be developed somehow, but it's nice to recoup the pawn. Knight f5 now, and once again I have to be a little bit careful because bishop f2 is on the agenda, so I'm going to have to think about it. Probably play queen f3. See, I'm looking mildly concerned, but just mildly. The knight is nice on d4. But my pawn chain still fairly powerful. Knight d4, queen g2. It's still a bad situation for Der Walker. f6, can you do that? I do not believe that you can get away with such moves. Queen g4. Bishop f2, king f2 looks winning. So king f7, but then rook g1, I guess. Maybe I should have started with rook g1. Yeah, that was probably even stronger. Who cares, frankly. Frankly, it does not change the outcome of this game or the way of the world. Oh, after bishop f3, d7 was winning a piece. Yeah, I'm bad at counting. That is true. What to do? As I said, we are headed down a certain path, no matter what. So, what can we talk about? What have I done? Oh, I watched season 1 of Silicon Valley. Good show. I'm brushing up on my tech fake programmer lingo, so it's always useful to watch these shows so I can carry on a conversation about CSS3. Or I learned a new term. I learned the term programmers, which apparently are cool programmers. They're like broing out. And maybe that should be my new career plan. Become a programmer. Like, I can't program at all, obviously. But I could probably fake the bro stuff. And then maybe we can get there. What other exciting life experiences do I have to share with you guys? Thinking. Nah, I got nothing. I am planning to win this game against their Walker. That pretty much is the focus. G6, accelerating the inevitable. This check might be the last check of the game. What are we missing? Tennis stuff? Wimbledon? Nadal got kicked out? Poor Nadal. I like Nadal because he has his right super arm. It's like Quagmire on this one episode of Family Guy. After he discovers something the internet has to offer, his arm looks like Nadal's arm always looks. But yeah, sorry to hear that. I don't really follow tennis. I know very little about it. I listened to a podcast episode with John McEnroe on the Bill Simmons podcast the other day. So I learned stuff like that Björn Borg retired at age 26, 27. Got me thinking about Magnus. Is that a Scandinavian thing to retire at 27? I doubt it, but still, who knew? 'Cause I knew Björn Borg is a big legend. Full disclosure, something you really don't want to know. I own some Björn Borg underwear, like he's an underwear tycoon in Scandinavia. But I had no idea that he retired at such a young age. And I've watched 7 Days in Hell, which is even better than Tour de Pharmacy. But that's pretty much the extent of my tennis knowledge. Let's play Beat 'em by Quakers. And beat him. Yeah, I heard there's a McEnroe-Borg film coming out, but McEnroe didn't sound very excited about it. Like, he wasn't involved, and it sounded like it was going to be a train wreck. But he did sound excited about Björn Borg. It sounded like that's the guy he respected the most. I'm playing against Beaten by Quakers from Thailand. My favorite. Is it my favorite country? It's probably my favorite country. At least I go there every year to the Thailand Open. Always a fantastic chess tournament. If you want to play one tournament per year, I highly recommend playing I think it's called Bangkok Open. But you'll be able to track it down, I'm sure. And we are playing the Ragozin, where a3 in this position is a rare move. I'm not sure if it's bad. Having played bishop b4, there's not really a choice but to take on c3. And I'm not actually sure what I'm supposed to do in this position. dc4 comes to mind, but then queen a4 check. I don't know if that's great for me. I'll just castle and delay the decision. But this a3 followed by b takes c3. We've seen it played in some games by strong players. Recently, even in combination with queen to c2. And it makes perfect sense what Mr. Beaten by Quakers. Quakers? What's Quakers? That's some certain religion? I have a feeling it's something I should know. As usual, I don't know stuff. Quakers. Quaker, yeah, that's what I thought. It's a mocking term to... No, Quakers. Members of a historically Christian group of religious movements, generally known as a religious society of friends. Friends? Alright. So they beat you? They kicked you out? What happened there? I'm confused. Now we've transposed to something. I don't know. I have a feeling you can get similar positions via the Vienna move order. I gave my pawn back and he gave me the 2 bishops. I guess white is, if anything, slightly better. So probably I did not play the opening perfectly. But it's hard to be perfect. Manimo is wondering, did you have lucky Björn Borg underwear you wore to chess tournaments? No, believe it or not, I'm very superstitious, but not when it comes to underwear. I change them like at least once per week, just as everybody else does. So, no, I think I own... Do you guys want to hear more about my Björn Borg underwear? I think I own 2 pairs. One blue one, one black one. And I should get more. They're very comfortable. What's going on here? Will beaten by Quakers. I don't know how to pronounce that. Checkmate me. Queen d3. I don't know. I feel like I should develop some pieces at some point of the game. But not yet. Let's first try to win a pawn. Will I blunder my queen? Kramnik recently blundered his queen in a similar structure against Aronian. Doesn't have a lot of squares. But queen e3, if I were to take, at least I would not be able to blunder my queen anymore. The problem is I would also repair his pawn structure. And it's nothing I want to do, but I don't see an alternative. So, what can you do? I'll take and try to get some pieces out finally. A lot of confusion about Quakers. Not to be confused by quark, which is a sound a duck makes. I'm reading by Supertech. Quark is also something we like to eat in Germany. Magerquark. And there is the DuckTales character Quark. At least in the German version. I'm not sure if that's his international name. But he's like a very bad pilot, as far as I recall. Quack der Bruchpilot. We've made some moves here at some roughly equal endgame, but I like my position now. It seems a bit easier to play rook c7, rook c8, or take on d4, go rook c3. Make something happen. Let's make something happen. He goes c4. Can you do that? I think I'll take all your pawns now. Give me all them pawns. Pramod MVS, as always, well informed. When is the next Miss Tactics session? When will her new TV series come out? And if by TV series you mean video series for Chess24, Sopiko Guramishvili, aka Miss Tactics, is in the Hamburg studio currently recording. She'll be here like 2 more days recording stuff. And when her series will come out, I don't know. After it passed QA, post-production, all these steps, but hopefully soon. And when she'll do a show, I don't know. She might do one from on location here. I do not know. Strudge. Tough username, says Jan. Please get a video on calculation. You mean I should watch one because my calculation is so terrible? Or I should do one? I did one. Didn't I do the series with Dvoretsky on calculation? I thought that was educational. Also the stuff on prophylaxis with Artur Yusupov touches a lot on calculation. So I have a feeling I've covered that. And if you mean that I should calculate better, I do not disagree. And Strudge points out that there is one by Dvoretsky. Indeed. I'm in that video. That's me sitting next to him with the shorter hair. I agree with everything these great masters of the game have to say. And Mr. Quakers does resign. It's a thankless position with all the weak pawns being a pawn down. My piece is very active. Yeah, I'm not sure where that went wrong. It looked roughly equal until here. Here, yeah, something went wrong. Maybe white has to act more quickly. Maybe even go dc5, even though that leaves a lot of very weak pawns. Or try to maneuver this knight around. Easier said than done. Knight d2, I have knight e5. I don't know, you need some sort of plan here, trying to bring the knight to d6 maybe, or bishop d3, bishop e4. But then, yeah, went downhill quite quickly. Thanks for the game, though. I'll play one more. I think this was supposed to be a 60-minute show. But we'll play, like, yeah. One more game of chess. If I can find a fresh opponent. Any freshmen here? Bunch of non-premium challenges, but I'm never allowed to accept those. Unfortunately. I'll play Victor Azar, number 2. From Argentina. Was Victor Azar already taken, so you had to go with the number 2? e4, e6, we are getting the French. Not exactly my specialty. I was doing commentary on this Leon final, and there Wesley So all of a sudden banged out the French against Viciano. It was a very sharp game after bishop b4, e5, c5, a3, takes, knight e7, queen g4, king to f8. Wesley got a good position of the opening. This king f8 trend I must have missed. But it looks like stuff is happening there. This position I get a lot in bullet, normally because I go d4, then I pre-move 2 knight c3, they go knight f6, e6, I go e4, they go d5. So I have a lot of bullet experience with this position, but I know no theory whatsoever. In bullet I normally play this, intending to strengthen my center with c3. Then after knight c6, which they usually play, I was playing knight f3. He plays b6, that should mean that I should have time to strengthen my pawn chain even further with f4, which is also the main line after knight c6, but I prefer knight f3 in that other order. Yeah, this makes sense, of course, you're trying to get rid of your bad bishop, but in this version in which he does it, it looks a little naive, frankly, because now I've solved all my problems, I have the 2 bishops, and even though you get rid of your bad bishop with black, this is still an unpleasant situation for black. So I can relate because I've done similar maneuvers a lot with black, especially when I was a more up-and-coming player. But these positions are very unpleasant. Even though you've gotten rid of your bad bishop, it's still not your pieces that are dominating the board. White has a space advantage and the 2 bishops, so this is an unpleasant situation to find yourself in. Not saying it's lost, but I'm saying this b6, bishop a6, bishop takes e2. It looks like an easy thing to do and it looks logical, but I would not recommend it. Shall I go for direct action? Let's do it. Could certainly make a case for slower plans, like a3 is always a useful move to cover this square. Queen e1, queen g3 looked like a useful little maneuver, or even some potential g4s. But as a rule of thumb, if you can go f5 in these positions, might as well. That's my rule. And Zimba 7, I will never play 2 queen e2 against the French, so please give up on that little project, you don't have to bring it up again. Queen c7 played. I guess the best black can do is to try to close the queen side with c4 and then castle there. But it also feels very shady because I will probably find a way to open it with c4, let's say. The problem is if you castle immediately, this pawn drops. That's why I said he should play c4 first. Well, now, yeah, it's not a pleasant position for Victor Azar number 2. I'm not sure what to do. I'll play this just directed against ef5. At least I thought it was directed against ef5 because of e6. Then I spotted that he does have ef5, e6, f4. So I might have to rethink that plan of mine. King a7. Let's just ask him if he means that. What are we talking about in the chat? Aren't you supposed to fight the hyenas? Hyenas? I really struggle pronouncing words today. And stuff is what Arthur is asking. I don't know. What hyenas? Anyway. Looks like Victor Azar number 2 resigned here after Queen A4. Yeah, it's a fairly thankless situation. As I said, this, I don't know, theory, and B6, bishop A6 might still be fine. But this bishop takes E2, this approach does not convince me. I think that's a bad position. Of course, after that, some things went wrong. But in general, don't go for this. Go for, if you have to play the French, some more direct stuff with knight C6. That brings us to the end of today's show. Thank you guys so much for watching, for contributing, for bearing with my constant desire to burp. Apologies to all of those who challenged me, who did not get a chance to play. I'm sure we'll have another one shortly. And what else? What do I have to announce? We'll possibly we will do Dortmund coverage. The details will be published soon. I'm looking forward to it some more. It's easier to talk trash about other people's chess than about your own chess, really. So that should be fun. I believe it starts on this Saturday. Then it's gonna be like, a bit more than a week. I'm very motivated in my OTB board career right now. So if you have any like random rapid tournaments over the weekend that are reachable from Hamburg, let me know. I'll go anywhere if you give me lots of money. No, but seriously, I'm interested in playing rapid and blitz tournaments. It's fun to play chess over the board. Who knew? Haven't done that for a long time. That's it for today. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you whenever I'll see you.